we want to make sure we bring that energy into that situation with us. I don't care if your character is tired and sad. You're going to portray tired and sad with energy out there, or it just falls flat in front of you. Hi everyone, I'm Crystal McDaniel, and this is The Naked Singer. Today we're going to be discussing energy and what energy is and why it's important to the singer. So let's just hop right in. When I'm explaining voice to people, there are three components that we use when we start out to bring in the basics of singing. We start out with posture, we start out with explaining what space is, and then we start into energy. So when we get to the energy part, energy equals air, and air equals energy. So they're not interchangeable. One equals the other, which that part equals the other part. So when you use air, the more air you use, the more energy you're going to have in your voice. And then vice versa, the more energy you use, the more air you're going to be needing and supplying. A singer needs air in the way a surfer needs water. So air and water are very similar to one another if you're comparing singing and surfing. So let's talk about energy. Now, there are many different ways that we can use our energy. So when we are on the stage, we have to have energy in our bodies, and we have to have energy in our face. And a lot of people have asked me over the years, where do I get my energy from? I get my personal energy from the fact that I have a lot of passion for anything and everything I am ever doing. If I take on a project, I have a lot of passion for that project. And therefore, I'm going to be using a lot of energy towards that particular project. So no matter what I do, I'm going to be energetic when I do it because I have a passion for it, specifically singing and being on the stage. I love to do the job that I do. And I also love to work with my singers. So I want to use as much energy as I possibly can while I am doing that job. Because when I use a lot of energy, it means that the student is going to see enthusiasm in me. The audience member is going to see me portraying emotions and movements on a real high level. And that is what I like to do. One of the things that I notice when I am in the studio, specifically with young singers, a lot of young singers do not understand what it is to have energy. One of the ways my daughter Rachel explains it when we are dealing with videos like this one right now that I'm doing also has a video component to it that we use for different parts of promotion for the studio and for the podcast. So she always explains when we're videoing a student for an audition or a competition that whatever you do on that video, you're going to be doing that times 10. So if you use low energy, it's going to come across as low energy times 10. If you use high energy, it's going to come across as high energy times 10, which is what we want. We want to multiply that energy. It is much better to be asked to pull back than it is to bump up. And it's the same when we're singing. If we are under energetic, then most of the time we're going to be singing flat because we are not using enough air in order to get the pitches to stabilize. And we've got to know that it takes a lot of energy to stabilize notes, where if we oversing, then we're either going to sing in a shouty fashion, which is going to be heavy and loud, or we're going to go sharp, or it could be heavy and loud and sharp. Because most of the time that means that we're overcompensating for something and then tightening up. So we want something that is in between those two things. However, we need to make sure that we understand the difference between the two. And right now, we're going to be talking about raising our energy levels. What I find more times than not, I find singers that undersing, young people undersing. It means that they don't know how to tap into the energy levels that they have in their body. They don't know how to enter a room with a high energy level and vibrate on a high vibration level and bring something interesting into the room. That is a truly important thing to work on as a singer, because when you come into a room, you need to bring a level of excitement and energy with you. Everything has to be done with that enthusiastic, excited energy. We want to be able to see that. And that doesn't mean that you have to go in and be hyperactive, but you need to be very present. And you need to know that the level of performance that you're about to give, or the introduction that you're about to give, or whatever it is that you're about to give, comes across as though you are really interested in being there. And we have to see that in your eyes and in your face and in your body. So our posture needs to be up. The gait of our walk needs to be strong. The way we make eye contact with the people in the room has to be strong. So we want to make sure we bring that energy into that situation with us. So how do we do that? Well, one of the best ways that I know how to bring our energy level up is by the use of exercise. Now, when we exercise, we have to bring our energy levels up, specifically when we're doing cardio. So we want to make sure that if we do cardio, whether it be swimming or whether it be running, we want to make sure that we're doing that at a level where we can control our breathing. Of course, if you're breathing underwater and you're swimming, then of course you're going to be holding your breath for the time period that you are underwater or you are swimming. But at the same time, we want to use that air and that energy to raise the heart level. When we raise the heart level, specifically when we're running and swimming, but I'm going to use running as an example. When we raise the heart level, it mimics what it feels like to have that nervous, excited energy when we go on the stage. And of course, when that happens, we want to be able to control our breathing process. So when you're exercising or you're running or you're doing cardio, you don't want to push that so much that you start losing your breath, because that's when you are completely out of control. You want to go to where you can still take a good breath and keep that control in, but have the heart rate level up at the exact same time. Like for me, I keep my heart rate level around somewhere between 130 and 140 when I am doing a cardio exercise. That helps me to be able to go to a big enough level that my heart rate is up and I'm burning calories and I'm really working, but my heart rate isn't so far up that I'm going to lose my breath while I'm doing it. I'm going to be able to control that back and forth, although the energy level is going to be at a high rate. And that's what we want to see. if we're using weights or whatever we do, I take every single exercise and I make it about singing. So if I'm doing a wall ball, for instance, I'm gonna squat into that weighted ball, and then and as I squat, I'm gonna open. Before I squat, I'm gonna open my throat. I'm going to drop for my air and take the air in. And then as I jump, I'm going to blow that air out energetically. If I am doing weights, I am going to do the exact same thing. If I'm doing rowing, I am going to do the exact same thing. Abdominal exercises, I'm going to do the exact same thing. Every single thing that I do, I apply what I need as a singer to do that. Because when we do those things, we become more aware of our bodies. We want to know what muscle that we're using. We want to know what muscles we're using to blow our air out. We want to know what muscles we release in order to take our air back in. This is really the way that we want to intentionally practice raising our energy level and singing. If we raise that energy level, then our singing is going to get better because we're going to know more about how to make contact and project that energy out into the audience. You cannot just mosey into an audition or just mosey into a lesson and think that you're not going to be asked to give more if your energy level isn't above a 5. I mean, we need to be singing at about a level 8 all the time. If we're using a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being absolutely no energy and 10 being all the energy that we have, we want to keep that level between 8 and 10. That's what's going to get everything across. And when you leave a lesson or you leave the stage or you leave an audition, you need to feel exhausted because that mimics the way that we work out. We need to make sure that we're having that, and we have to have a passion and excitement behind that, or what's the point even? More times than not, I have students that I have to say, are you giving all that you can get? Is that 100%? And usually they go, well, no. And my question is, why not? Why are you not giving more? Normally, what I find out when somebody is having trouble tapping into their energy, more times than not, there is an actual mental and physical, not necessarily physical, but mental and spiritual problem or emotional issue that is going on in that situation, because that one that they really don't want to share, one that they don't want to put out there because of the fact that what something inside us is robbing us, sorry about that, robbing us of that energy. And we need to figure that part out. Many times I see energy being stolen from people because they're very angry. Something inside of them has traumatized them, and that is turned into anger, and their energy has gone into the anger, and the anger has gone inward towards themselves instead of being able to express it in a healthy way. So they are under energetic about the things that they put out there because they're worried about what's going to come out if they actually open up and let that energy fly. They're worried that everybody's going to see whatever it is that they're upset about or that they're angry about, or maybe they don't feel enough. Whatever that process is, they need to be able to express that, and that's holding them back. My recommendation to you If you've got that issue and you are under energy when you are singing and performing and your energy needs to raise, my recommendation to you is that you go and you take a class that requires you to have high energy, like kickboxing. Take an exercise class like kickboxing, where you have to have high energy and you get to punch something at the same time. And it's a healthy way to express the anger. Or you can go and take a boxing class that, you put the headgear on and everything, and you can punch away. Those are good ways to be able to do that. But you need to have some sort of physical expression that puts you on a high energetic level in order to express that. And then you can understand that your whole physicality has to, and your psyche, your actual emotional awareness has to drive or help with the energy that you put out there into the world when you're singing. It will hold you back if you don't know how to tap in to that particular energy and to that particular way of expressing yourself emotionally. It's going to suppress the energy that you have to sing with. Now, a lot of people say to me, "But Crystal, I'm really shy and I'm introverted." Well, believe it or not, so am I. I also am an introverted person. Yes, I have a podcast and I'm here talking. And if you see me out in public, I'm going to bring a certain energy to you, but that energy costs me and I get completely exhausted. And I have a very small circle of very close friends, and so I don't tend to really want to attach myself emotionally or go out there and just spend a lot of energy. Most of the time, if I'm not working or having to be out in the public, I'm very quiet. I read books, I listen to things, I'm usually writing something. And I like to take that time to take a mental rest in order to be able to gather my energy back up, to be able to give it to my students, to my singing, to my performances, to the things that I like to do, like my tennis and swimming, or if I want to go do something with a larger group of our family or whatever. I try to make sure that I store up energy for that ahead of time. And then when I'm done, boy, I'm really worn out. So yes, I am introverted too, but I don't allow that introverted nature to get in the way of the goals that I have and that I seek to fulfill. So what I do is that I work on myself mentally and spiritually and physically so I can get up and feel good about doing those things. And I make sure that when I'm there, I am absolutely there. I'm there in the moment. I'm interested in the people. Sometimes I'm a part of the conversation and sometimes I'm not. It depends on who I'm around. But at the same time, I'm giving the people I'm around energy. They know when I walk in, I make eye contact with people. I say hello. I do those things. And then when I leave, I retreat and I'm quiet again. Those are the things that I do as an introvert. So that's sort of funny, but yes, I'm an introvert. So when you're saying that, that's okay to be one. It's okay to feel like being around people drains you of energy. You would prefer to be quiet. You would prefer to do things alone and be a loner. That is just fine. It's just that you've got to also, if you want to sing as a career, if you want to sing and be a part of a singing group or whatever you need to do, you need to figure out how you're going to come out of your shell to do that. You've got to figure out what type of energy that requires, and then you've got to put yourself into that. Another part of it is that some people just don't feel like they're coordinated. And that's true. Sometimes people have coordination issues. And that really has to do with the eye and the brain and the movement and the body muscle movement. Again, that's something you can practice in exercise. You can actually give yourself exercises where you have to follow through. And I would think that maybe, playing ping pong would help with that. I know tennis for me really helps with that because I have to keep my eye on the ball, and there are racket positions that I have to have my hand in, and I've got to be able to be there on time in those positions in order to be able to do things like that. So tennis is a good way of doing that. Again, I think boxing would probably be a good thing for you to try to do so that you can get that hand to eye to brain coordination going on, and start out slow. Start out really slow when you do it so that you can see that you're making that contact, and then build up the speed and the pace slowly. You can even take a metronome into a situation like that and get your timing on it so that you can get faster and faster and faster and faster with that particular coordination. You don't have to do it perfectly the first time, but we do need to be more and more and more and more coordinated. And that requires energy. That requires us to use and know where these muscles are and know how to get the brain to connect with the muscle and the eye so that you can be able to do things like that. That's something that you've got to work on as a singer, because timing, if you're going to sing, is everything. It doesn't matter if you're doing country music. It doesn't matter if you're doing pop music. It doesn't matter if you rap. It doesn't matter if you're a classical person, musician, or if you do musical theater. All of that has to do with timing. Timing is highly important, and you need to know where your beats are, be able to keep that beat, and get that coordination going on so that your energy level can actually be on the level that brings excitement and entertainment and a great story to the people that are sitting out there in the audience, because that's our job. That is our job as a singer, to be great storytellers. And to do that with energy so that it connects with the people out there. You cannot act like you are waking up in the morning and just being draggy and uninteresting and waiting for your cup of coffee. When you're on the stage, it needs to feel as though you've had about 7 Red Bulls. I mean, the energy level literally needs to be that high. Now, I am not telling you, and one, I do not promote. When I said Red Bull, I am not promoting a product. It was just a name that popped in my head, and I am not promoting a product, and I actually don't promote anybody to go out and actually drink a Red Bull or any of those energy drinks. I think that you need to have a natural energy through your good nutrition and through exercise and through actually spending time on your emotional and mental health. Those things are going to bring your energy level. We don't want a false energy level in there. We want an actual natural energy level to help you when you're up there on the stage in whatever capacity that you're up on the stage to do. And you could be just doing a corporate presentation, but please don't bore us. Please do not bore us. Like in the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off, when the teacher's up there just going, Bueller, 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 with no enthusiasm and no energy whatsoever. The blank face has got to stop. The eyes have to light up, and we have to see that you are interested and you're making contact. That is so crucial to the stories that we are going to tell. and to the interest that the audience is going to have in their engagement with us while they're sitting in their seats having bought a ticket to see a great story. It has to be energy, 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 energy. You start with energy, you continue to consistently give that energy through the very last note and the encore. Every single moment, there is never a time that you're going to dial it down. Never. I don't care if your character is tired and sad. You're going to portray tired and sad with energy out there, or it just falls flat in front of you and it doesn't carry into the audience at all. And that's something that you need to know, whether you have coffee shop gigs and it's a small, intimate audience, or whether you're in an arena or a coliseum and you're entertaining hundreds of thousands. Doesn't matter. You've got to have energy. I don't know of one real performer out there that doesn't give energy if they're really doing the job. You know, we went to see Billy Joel. He gave energy. We've gone to see Diana Krall recently. She's a jazz artist. If you haven't heard her, you need to listen to her recordings. They're amazing musicians. She gives energy when she's up there, and it's definitely within the playing of all of her band members. Incredible stuff. And they're giving of that energy out into the audience, and that's why everybody enjoys it. When we are able to make the contact with the muscles needed to move our air, that brings energy to our voice, and we truly need to be able to do that and to make contact with that energy by moving that air. And we have to move the air rapidly, and it has to be done enthusiastically. And you must understand how your body works in order to be able to do that and make the contact with the muscles necessary in order to be able to do that, which is another reason you need to exercise, because when we exercise, we get to know our bodies better. Our body is our instrument when we're a singer, not just the vocal cords housed in the throat. It is our entire bodies, and we've got to know how to work the body and work that instrument in order to bring those things out into the world like we want to. And that is something that you need to get as a singer. You've got to study it. You've got to understand it. The anatomy of the body is very important for a singer to know, all the way down to the very fine muscles that we use in order to blow air, to open our throats, to stand tall. We need to know all of those parts of coordination. Another reason that exercise is very important. Okay, I've gone through a lot of things in a short period of time today, but I think that you have gotten the gist that energy is highly important to a singer. I want to let you know that personal trainer Skylar Smith, she is the owner of Sky Fitness, and you can find her on Instagram at Sky Fitness. You want to hook up with Sky if you can. She and I are starting a class on the first Saturday from 10:30 to 12:30 Eastern Time in Kings Mountain, North Carolina at Core Fit in Kings Mountain. We'll be starting a class for singers, specifically called Energize Sing, where we're going to be using a combination of weightlifting, cardio, yoga, all kinds of things that we both know. Skylar used to be one of my students, or actually she's still one of my students. I'm including Skylar in all of that because periodically she pops in and out because she has things that she has to sing for. And Skylar and I both understand how important it is to be physical with the body as a singer. So we're going to walk the students through that, and then you're going to learn how to use that while you're singing. So yes, there's going to be times in this class that you need to be prepared to bring a song and sing it. And we're going to be using the exercises while you're singing the song. So it really is sort of a singing masterclass and in combination with physical exercises. So we can show you what is really supposed to engage and how you're supposed to gain the energy on it. So we've developed this class together. We're going to keep developing how it works. So remember, August 6th, Kings Mountain Core Fit with yours truly and Skylar Smith. So we want to see you there 10:30 to 12:30 on that Saturday morning. If you're a singer, come on and join us. We would love to have you. It's $10 per class member, and we want to see you come out, and we want to be able to help you be the best singer that you can possibly be. Okay, remember that this podcast drops every single Monday. It's available on Apple Podcasts and all your favorite podcast networks. Don't forget to like, follow, share, comment, listen, tag a friend. All of those things are really important. You can find me at Naked Singer Blog on Instagram, at Naked Singer Blog on Facebook. We want to have discussions about what we're talking about. So come on, and you can send me a direct message question, or you can just comment on one of the posts that's already on there. You can also find me on TikTok at The Naked Singer. And as always, I'm Crystal McDaniel, and this is The Naked Singer.